Now, before I break down the pilot of Robot Chicken, here's segment 1, a brief history of the show to give you a little insight on it. Robot Chicken is an American stop-motion animated television series created by Seth Green, Matthew Senreich, and Seth Green. And it premiered February 20th, 2005, which was 20 years ago, which is pretty insane now.
Cool.
On the late night block of Cartoon Network Adult Swim, which is one of the most iconic blocks now, and was back then, but I feel like Robot Chicken kind of elevated it to a certain point. Now, to get back on track. The series is best known for its relevant humor, pop culture,
and it's a
satirical spoofs, and rapid-fire skits. They often make use of toys, dolls, and action figures to narrate over-top, outlandish scenarios. Robot Chicken initially began as a web series project before it was developed as a full-fledged TV program. The show has a dark and adult tone, typically uses black humor and creative animation methods. Robot Chicken became well known throughout parody sketches of TV programs, movies, celebrities, and historical and modern day icons. One of the key elements that made it distinct, Robot Chicken stop motion animation, which was a nod to TV shows and toys of the creators' childhoods, such as He-Man, G.I. Joe, action figure lines. Robot Chicken was made by
favorite vehicles as a child growing up, and here you have
a part-time studio owned by Seth Green. Robot Chicken has amassed a dedicated fan base throughout its years, has been universally praised for its ability to satire pop culture through relevant and humor. It has received numerous awards, including numerous Emmy nominations and wins. Oh, let's dive into breaking down the pilot of Robot Chicken. It starts with one of the best Adult Swim intros ever. I think it's one of the best because it's just so memorable, and it's one of the most memorable ones out of like all the Adult Swim intros. It's short, fun, and almost feels like a theme song without actually being a theme song. The intro is a perfect homage to all the iconic early 2000s adult animation TV openings. And it's one of my personal favorites, to be honest. I know I said that already. I'm wasting the point. So let's get into the first sketch. The first sketch is a parody of the famous This Is Your Brain on Drugs commercial, featuring Rachel Lee Cook from the classic PSA. Not actually her, just a sound alike. I don't think it's actually her. It's a memorable skit that escalates as she walks down the street, smashing cars, mailboxes, and street signs.
We just
People
want to
around
help.
her are terrified as she screams about the dangers of drugs. Just like the original commercial, the destruction concludes with her wrecking the diner and even jumping on. Moving on to sketch 2. The Teletubbies, but all grown up. This sketch imagines them doing illegal substances and is honestly the whole joke. It's short, traditional skit that runs about 50 seconds. And it's mainly them just smoking, I think, a cigarette. Next up is sketch 3, a Transformers parody. The Autobots are trying to stop Megatron from hijacking a power plant, but Optimus Prime has to pee. It's a hilarious bit that plays with the absurdity of giant robots fighting in a city while causing massive destruction, as they always do, especially the Bay Former films. There's a funny line from Optimus. Today we stop Megatron, and a funny line from Optimus Prime where he says, "Today we stopped Megatron, but only 50 human lives were lost," and everyone cheers. The sketch takes a humorous turn when the Autobot in the locker room, Optimus Prime, goes to the bathroom and a couple Transformers joke about his European way of peeing. It's a bit of an outdated joke. While the joke has not aged the best, it's still funny enough, and the sketch ends with Optimus Prime peeing purple blood. The punchline? It's a PSA about getting your prostate checked. It's a solid parody with some great Easter eggs and respects for the original Transformers show. After that, we transition into one of the most brutal skits about one of the most brutal and one-sided reality shows ever. World's most one-sided fistfights. It's so over-the-top violent that you can't look away. The skit escalates quickly, starting with a man attacking what looks like his son, and then moves into even more absurd scenarios like a robot fighting its creator. One of the funniest moments is when a random guy crashes into a little boy in the bathroom, which is weirder than it sounds. Then we cut to another traditional skit. Scarecrow getting shanked, and that's most of the joke. He's just getting shanked. It's pretty funny when you first watch it, but after watching it for the first time, it's just comic book character gets shanked. Still kind of funny. You thought that was the final second to last sketch? No, there's another second to last sketch. And it's another parody. Superman from the 50s, but this time where he crashes set in a drunken stupor. There's also a moment where Gary Coleman is whipped on different strokes. Then it's followed by a Pokemon parody with Squirtle on a film set and Pikachu warning him about getting gas. Pokemon bit is great and it's kind of a fun parody on Pokemon, and I never really liked Pokemon growing up, so I don't really mind it making fun of something I like. But the Different Strokes one is just okay. I didn't really find it that funny. If you did, each their own, but I didn't really find it funny or that great. Now we're here to the final sketch. And the final sketch of the episode features robots from the original Star Trek messing up, which immediately doesn't land for me because I'm not a Star Trek fan. I've never really been a Star Trek fan. I've been more of a Star Wars fan. And I know a lot of people are like, why not? Star Trek is so much better. Star Trek is the more realistic and takes realistic issues. Star Wars is the more action based. The episode wraps up with a classic random ending. The house offering itself as a character is
we
strange,
got our hands
but
on some footage from that classic sitcom that's never been seen before.
Weird, random way. And it works for 2005 humor. Now, to the third and final segment, my thoughts. Overall, the Robot Chicken pilot is a solid start to what would become one of the most successful stop-motion animated shows on Adult Swim. It introduced viewers to the unique tone of the show and its humor, which is skit-based, fast-paced, and a bit out there. If you've seen the dark humor compilations, you know what I'm talking about. The humor lands well, even if some of the skits haven't aged perfectly. The pilot does a great job of setting up what's to come in future episodes. This episode is a great introduction to the world of Robot Chicken, and it shows why the show became one of the biggest stop-motion series of all time. From parodies of classic TV shows to ridiculous humor